If you've been to Playa del Carmen, you have certainly walked past one of these six. Perhaps you've wondered how good they are or are not. Or if you're coming to Playa del Carmen and you're researching your trip about what the best hotels are, you have certainly looked at one of these because these are the six most popular. I just stayed at all of these from back to back to back to back to back to back. 4 nights each, all in a row, and I did everything at all of these hotels. I checked out the beaches, the bars, the restaurants, the pools, the nightlife, the food, the restaurants. And in this video, I'm going to rank the top 6 Playa del Carmen hotels in terms of popularity from worst to first. Before I get into it, if you're looking for my complete experience videos on each one of these hotels, check the description below. This is just the cliff notes. Let's get right into it. Number 6, again, we're going from worst to first, would be Sandos Playa Car. This hotel is coming in at number 6, so clearly I did not have the best experience, quite the opposite, but it did have a few things going for it. First of all, it was located in the Playa Car region of Playa del Carmen. That is the exclusive gated community just south of downtown of the city. Also, this Sandos had one of the best beaches out of the 6 hotels I've stayed at. And then lastly, I like the nature component. It had some jungle walkways. It did feel like a remote destination. There were some rescue animals on site. Sandos puts a lot of emphasis on the environment. They have a big recycling program. They're really great on causes. They support good causes, and I really respect that. But unfortunately, the negatives far outweighed the positives at this resort. First of all, the resort was massive, overwhelmingly massive. It might be the largest resort in terms of acreage footprint that I've been to in my life. Going from all the way to the start to all the way at the end is easily a mile walk. And unlike the Cabo location, which had some personality, which had some coolness, which had some character, Sandos Playa Car was bland. It was generic. The rooms were straight out of IKEA. A lot of the restaurants were cafeteria style. It just didn't have any personality at all. The adults only section was pretty much irrelevant. It was an afterthought and thus meaningless. It was in a high traffic area. It was loosely enforced, and my tower did not have internet or mobile service the entire time. Those negatives are pretty bad, but Sandos makes them worse because they market themselves as a 5-star property. On their website, they tell you that they are a premium resort and they charge you premium prices. I can tell you that Sandos Playa Car is absolutely not a 5-star hotel. It is barely 4-star, but they certainly are charging you a 5-star price. Number 5 is Riu Palace, Mexico. This is one of the hotels I was most excited about. Some positives about the property, first of all, is that it is beautiful. It is aptly named. It does really feel like you're in a palace. The lobby is gorgeous. The grounds are breathtaking. Just walking from the lobby to the pool to the beach every single day was one of the most memorable experiences I had on property. This is an X4 Diamond resort, and although it's not a 4 Diamond resort currently, it was for many years, and there are a lot of luxury components built into the fabric of this property. Also, Riu Palace, Mexico had the best beach out of all the hotels I visited on this trip. And another great thing about this property is the value, and this is going to be true pretty much for a lot of Rius, but this one in particular had a ton of value. Again, this is an X4 Diamond hotel. The rooms are nice, they're relatively modern, they're spacious, you get a suite for a fantastic price. And plus, when you stay at Riu Palace, Mexico, you get access to all other 5 Riu properties on site. Riu Palace, Mexico was the first Riu that I wasn't head over heels for, though. It was the first one that after I left, I just wasn't glowing over. The pools were a major disappointment. The lobby was empty, the bars were scarce, there wasn't any evening entertainment or activities. It was a pretty depressing place to be, especially on a weekend. It was once Riu's Pride of Mexico, that's why they named it after the country. It was a previous 4 Diamond hotel. There's a lot to like, but I don't think it's the best Riu in Playa del Carmen anymore. Riu Palace, Mexico comes in at number 5. Number 4, number 3, and number 2 are razor thin. They're pretty much tied. You can interchange them depending on what you prioritize or basically how you're feeling any given day. I'm putting the Wyndham at number 4. Now, if you watch my videos, I actually rank the Wyndham higher than a lot of these hotels, but it has one fatal flaw. And when I rank it head to head against the other properties, I think I have to put it in at number 4. First of all, this Wyndham is stunning for a Wyndham. Whatever you think of Wyndham, this is not it. I typically have stayed away from Wyndhams because I thought they were mid-scale, economy, business hotels, timeshares. This will change your perception of what a Wyndham is. My junior suite was one of the best entry-level rooms I had during the entire trip. I think it probably had overall the best food out of all 6 of these hotels, which is a very big statement considering the next 2 hotels I'm going to talk about. Wyndham had a great assortment of restaurants. The food was fresh. The menus were creative. There were some interesting options such as the grab-and-go market, basically like a 7-Eleven where you can walk in and just take stuff for the day, fill up a backpack, go to the pool, go to the beach. And another great thing about this Wyndham is its location. It is pretty much perfect. It's right downtown Playa del Carmen, just steps away from the famous 5th Ave. Wyndham Ultra Playa del Carmen isn't perfect though. It is coming in at number 4 for a reason. The first one is it just felt small. I mean, it is a small hotel. It's actually kind of a boutique style hotel. I think there's only 300 rooms, which is pretty small for an all-inclusive property. It's tough to explain because on paper it has a lot of these things that all the other big all-inclusives have. It had numerous restaurants to choose from. It had evening activities. It had daytime activities, entertainment, but it just didn't feel like there was enough to keep me busy or entertained for over a few days. Also, there is no beach at this Wyndham. There's no beach at all. It is pretty much one of the worst beach experiences I've ever encountered in my life. The beach is the main reason you're going to go to Playa del Carmen, and you are going to be sadly heartbroken when you get to the Wyndham Beach. This is the reason it's not coming in any higher. A beach is such a big component of any all-inclusive resort, and this Wyndham Beach will probably leave you in tears after you see it. Number 3 is Paradisus La Perla. This was the hotel I was looking forward to the most. I've never stayed at a Paradisus before. This apparently is one of the jewels of the Melia hotel portfolio. Like Wyndham Ultra and Hilton, it is adults only. This on paper was everything I was looking forward to. I was expecting this to be number 1. It's coming in at number 3. There's a lot to like about this property, but it also just, I think, is better on paper than it is in person. Let me talk about the highlights very quickly. First of all, this hotel is beautiful. It's striking. If you saw my experience video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This hotel is the epitome of chic modern luxury, and then they somehow fuse it with nature because the entire property is set in the middle of a mangrove forest. Unfortunately, Paradisus La Perla had some pretty major drawbacks. Number 1 is the pool. Now, I love the main pool at Paradisus La Perla. It was large, it was fun, great crowd. There was a DJ out there every day. There were activities out there. It had a really unique design. There was some oversized in-pool loungers, which are always a fan favorite. They had a buffet out there. They had some cocktail stations. Unfortunately, there was only one of them, and it was extremely loud. And believe me, the pool was loud. I had a poolside room that was beautiful, but I heard the pool music reverberating, basically shaking my windows all day. The beach was a major heartbreaker as well, and yes, it was littered with seaweed. And although I don't fault the hotel for seaweed in the water, I cannot believe a hotel of the luxury of Paradisus La Perla, of the status of Paradisus La Perla, or for the price you pay to be there, didn't maintain or manicure the beaches. It just was a little bipolar. Now, not as bad as Sandos Playa Car, but definitely inconsistent. That is why Paradisus La Perla is coming in at number 3. Number 2 is Hilton Playa del Carmen, which is the number 1 property in Playa del Carmen. It's number 1 based on popularity, but as soon as I got on property, I saw why this Hilton is number 1. It is, for a Hilton, jaw-dropping. Everything from the lobby to the 2-story waterfall to the beautiful courtyard landscapes, from the awesome pools that transition into the beach. It is unbelievable for a Hilton property in the middle of downtown Playa del Carmen. It is absolutely a 5-star property, and I was blown away by how much you get for your money. I just booked the cheapest room on property, which I believe was the junior suite, and when I walked in, I was floored. The room was modern, it was trendy, it was classy, it was spacious. It had some great amenities like an awesome bed, giant jacuzzi tub, nice balcony. There aren't too many things to hate about Hilton Playa del Carmen, but one is that it is small. Like Wyndham Ultra, things get a little boring after a couple days. I think it's more of a weekend hotel than it would be for a week or 2. And also the nightlife is pretty much non-existent. And I think that's because it's located right next to 5th Avenue, where you have Coco Bongo and Senior Frogs and all the bars, entertainment, nightlife. If you like staying on property and getting the value out of an all-inclusive, you're gonna be disappointed with things to do after 9 or 10 p.m. at Hilton Playa del Carmen. If someone is looking at going to Playa del Carmen for a few days and they wanna be in the city this is the hotel to stay at. Hilton Playa del Carmen comes in at number 2. And number 1 is Ocean Riviera Paradise. I never expected this one. Online, this hotel had the worst ratings out of all 6 of these. And I got there and the lobby was really beautiful, and I got to the room and it was great, and I ate at the restaurants, it was great, and one great experience just turned into another, and at the end, I think it was the best overall hotel. It did have an adults only section, and it was well executed. It wasn't just an afterthought like you find at a lot of these all-inclusives. It was more than just a tower. There was an adults only pool. It was in a great location, an isolated portion of the property. There was an adults only restaurant as well. And then also the room was great. When I walked in, I couldn't believe how good the room was for the money. And I'll talk about that in a second, but I was expecting something extremely small. I was expecting something to be very mid-scale, if not low scale. And I got to the room and it was spacious. The bed was great. There was a separate living area. There was a nice balcony that overlooked the pool and had a nice survey over the property. For the money, I could not believe the caliber of room that I got. You're gonna find better meals at other all-inclusives, but not for the price. Considering the price that I paid, the food at this hotel was exceedingly good. This is one of the cheapest all-inclusive hotels in Mexico. Not just in Playa del Carmen, not just in Riviera Maya, but in Mexico. I think my room with the adults only section during prime time tourist season was like $150 a night. And for all of that, I got a spacious room, great food, multiple pools. The value of this hotel is just insane. Of course, it's not going to have the refinement or the luxury that you're going to find at the other properties I talked about, or at the leading upscale properties in Playa del Carmen. The beach is a little bit of a disappointment. Not only do they not clean up the seaweed, which I think is a major detractor from the beach experience, the strip of sand is also really narrow. But in the end, this property is coming in at number 1. I would have never expected that. I've never expected myself to rank this property higher than Paradisus La Perla, to rank it higher than Riu Palace, Mexico, Hilton Playa del Carmen, but it definitely comes in at number 1, and the big reason for that is the value, the money. I mean, it is one of the cheapest all-inclusives in Mexico, and what you get for the price is pretty much mind-blowing.